I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not hear me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Start it from scratch. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not. Because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through. I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not. Because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling on my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. What do you think that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not hear me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Start it from scratch. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go. 'Cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set for the 16th race of the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Great to be back here with the Duracell Ultra Lite Series drivers who had a bit of a lengthy off-week span, and they are now getting ready to take to the Bluegrass State mile-and-a-half track known as the Kentucky Speedway. Coming into this one, I talked about this yesterday in pole day qualifying. That battle for playoff positions is starting to get very, very interesting, specifically around the wild card spots, because in these 15 previous races, we've had 14 drivers go to victory lane. We currently, I believe, only have 5 of those former winners up inside of the top 7 in points, which means the remaining 9 drivers are all in the wild card conversation, and all of them only have 1 win apiece. So it comes down to where you are in overall point standings as to whether you are currently in a playoff position or not. If we end up seeing one of those one-time winners go to victory lane here tonight, I think it'd be pretty safe to say that with this race included, 5 races left in the regular season, that could be a clinched playoff position in terms of either advancing high enough in the point standings into the top 7 or jumping up to the number 1 wild card seed. So we'll keep our eyes on our former winners, but there's every chance we could even have our 15th different driver go to victory lane here tonight, as well as Cup Series regular captured the pole position, that being Bryce Egan. Egan failed to qualify for the Cup Series race here yesterday, unable to pull off the double, so he will be participating only in the Lite Series race here this afternoon, but he becomes the 3rd Cup Series regular to capture a pole position. RJ Bishop and Anthony McCurry have formerly done it as well, and, you know, while he's not running for points here in this series, a win, a checkered flag, is still a checkered flag, and it would certainly throw a little bit of an X factor into the playoff battle with the regular Lite Series drivers as well, with there not being a win for a regular driver towards a playoff position. Aubrey Powell, though, will line up to his outside Toyota Supras very fast in qualifying yesterday. Aubrey Powell coming into this race 6th in overall points, a former winner on the season at Pocono. So for Aubrey, there's 2 goals here. Number 1, go to victory lane. Lock yourself up a spot in the playoffs for certain. But also, Aubrey comes into this race currently tied with Colin Grace. Those 2 drivers are situated 6th and 7th in points. Those teammates, they are technically in a tie for 6th position with 451 points each. So Aubrey Powell will be looking not only for a victory, but also going to be looking, if not getting a checkered flag, for a really good run, a top 5, a top 10, to build a cushion between herself and that 7th position in the standings, trying to lock herself into the playoffs on points. Jackson Haywood is going to be the highest starting of the blue ovals. He's going to roll off the grid in 3rd. Now Jackson, he was a driver for a good portion of this regular season. It was up in the top 7 in points, looking like he was going to make his way into the playoffs through points paying position. He has since, though, dropped to 11th in the standings. He is the 3rd highest driver in the points without a victory, and he currently finds himself I believe 23 points outside of the 7th position in the standings. So he's another driver that is kind of multifaceted in his options right now. He'd love to find victory lane, but he also wants to garner enough points to get back up into the top 7 in the overall points. Alongside of him is going to be Jordan Anderson. He is the highest starting of the Chevrolet bow ties. Jordan Anderson, he comes into this race with a victory, which currently has him in the number 1 wildcard spot because he is 8th in the point standings. However, he is only 1 point outside of 7th in the standings. So again, another driver with a lot of options here tonight. A second trip to victory lane would more than likely lock himself up a spot in the playoffs, whether it was through top 7 in points or a high-seeded wild card position. But a good finish here tonight, and he's back up in the top 7 in the standings in a playoff position through points. A lot of options for a lot of drivers here tonight, but a lot of them center around still wanting to find victory lane and lock yourself up a spot in this season's playoffs. The only driver, the only multi-time winner on the season is Cam Wright Jr., and he comes into this race leading the point standings. We'll talk more about the point standings, what the wild card position battle looks like here in just a moment, but we're now preparing for 83 laps of racing here this afternoon at the Kentucky Speedway, and we're going to go down trackside for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
30 drivers going to take the green flag here this afternoon. Number of Cup regulars in the field as well, pulling double duty this weekend. Let's make sure they all make their way off of pit road, off the grid without any issues. Looks like so far so good. And we will now take a look at what the playoffs would look like coming into this race. The battle for the points lead still between the juniors. Cam Wright over Roberto Crown by 13 points. David Dixon sits 3rd in points, 33 points out. Kyle Langland jumped up to 4th in the standings after the last timeouts race at the Chicago Motor Speedway. He's 41 points back, and 45 points back in 5th is Eli Bright. Aubrey Powell, Colin Grace, 6th and 7th in points. Right now would be the last drivers into the playoff standings on points. Wildcard spots would go to 8th through 10th in the standings, all with 1 win apiece. Jordan Anderson, Cody Majorek, and Juan Garcia. Drivers just on the outside looking in of wildcard positions. Last time out winner Nathan Stapleton jumped to 12th in points. Skylar Taylor is 13th in the standings. Cole Coybe 18th. Dave Smith 20th. Michael Turner 22nd. And Craig Batson in 26th. If any of those drivers just named get a second win tonight, they leapfrog to the number 1 wildcard position. 83 laps here in the Bluegrass State. A couple of Toyota Supras bring us down to the green. Bryce Egan gets us underway at Kentucky. Already 3 wide. Dave Smith put some tires down below that white line on the apron of the front straightaway. That is legal. The yellow line is only a guideline. It is not an inbounds, out of bounds indicator. As whoa, Mike Tellier moved up the track back there. May have been some contact between himself and Eli Bright. As Bright's Eagle will come around and he will lead lap number 1. Jackson Haywood moves into 2nd. Aubrey Powell trying to find something on that outside line to get a run off of 2. Challenge for that runner-up position. 4th place battle here, almost 3 wide as Craig Batson drives it in deep on Dave Smith, who is alongside of Jordan Anderson. Anderson might clear off of 4 for the position, will do so. Brody Kupski follows in the tire tracks. Looks like inside line, the preferred lane through 1 and 2, outside line through 3 and 4. You can see right there, you can see the run if you're able to hit 1 and 2 correctly. The run that you can get off the second corner onto the back straightaway. Jordan Anderson tried to take it somewhere on Aubrey Powell for 3rd. Might pay the price now as Brody Kupski gets to the right rear quarter panel. Will look to swing around for that 4th position out of 4 onto the front straightaway. Not clear yet. Now I believe he is clear. Is the 41 car as he'll move further up into the top 5. His teammate out of Adrenaline Motorsports, Dave Smith, going to follow him as well into the 5th position. Whoa, big block. Brody with the move on Aubrey Powell, throws the block on him. Kupski will still stay alongside here through 3 and 4. Looks to get the power down on the front straightaway to take the spot. Aubrey Powell gonna, I think, have the preferred entry here into turn 1, though. The wider arc. Yeah, you see right there, the 41 had to back off. A shallower entry. The car will push up. Scrubs off speed with that right front sliding as we've got a shot for the lead here. Here comes Jackson Haywood. Took a peek there on Bryce Egan. Nice run there through 3 and 4. Might be able to show the nose here on the front straightaway. Try and take the lead going into turn 1. Nope, looks like he's going to run the same line there as Bryce Egan through 1 and 2. Top 5 single filed out. Battle will be for 6th. Skylar Taylor takes the spot from Jordan Anderson, who continues to free fall after starting from the 4th position. Now Anderson is back to the 7th spot, in danger of losing that to last time out's winner Nathan Stapleton. Got his first career win in his 2nd full-time season here in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series, back at the Chicago Motor Speedway, and looking for more. Anderson with a move. Determined to get that inside line working here through 3 and 4, but I don't think that inside line's rubbered in. Oh, he is going to pull ahead of Stapleton, but it seems like here on the front straightaway, once they exit out of turn 4, that outside line is able to get the momentum back, but Anderson completed the pass. So there you go. Doggedly trying to get that inside line working. It is going to work to his benefit. Look at the run he was able to get through 1 and 2 as he'll pull up on Dave Smith, who was very slow on that inside line through the first couple of corners. And that will be the battle, I believe, for the 6th position. They are wadded up here in the latter portion of the top 10. Eli Bright, Nathan Stapleton there, Chris Dollerton, Mike Tellier. Got Juan Garcia peeking up the middle. We're going to be 3 going into turn 1. Tellier has to back out of that. It'll now be Stapleton versus Dollerton, and Stapleton will get the run out of turn 2. Eli Bright on the move. Eli Bright has been quietly consistent these last few weeks, as he's now made his way up to 5th in overall points. He is the second highest driver in the point standings without a victory. Kyle Langland is the highest. And Eli, it looks like, is going to utilize the inside line here through 1 and 2 to try and take the 7th position from Jordan Anderson. Not going to quite be able to do it. We've had an exchange for 2nd. I didn't see that battle. But Jackson Haywood lost 2nd place to Aubrey Powell. He's about to get it back, utilizing the 2nd groove through 3 and 4. Skylar Taylor was very high there out of turn 4 as well, as he's trying to get to the outside of Brody Kupski for the 4th position. Bryce Egan continues to lead. He's led all 10 of the previously completed laps so far. The all-star car out of Trackhouse Racing. That car's been bounced around between Cup Series regular Reggie Fogelman as well as Sarah Fogelman. That car has only finished in the top 5 once with Reggie. And Bryce looking to get this car, the All-Star car, to Trackhouse Racing, its first victory in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Trackhouse Racing, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to double check, but I believe it has only 2 victories so far this season, one with Roberto Crown Jr. and one with Juan Garcia. Let's follow up on our battle for the points lead, because we have not yet seen either Roberto Crown Jr. nor Cam Wright Jr. anywhere near as the front. There is the 18 of Roberto Crown Jr. Right now he is 20th in the running order. Came into this one 13 points out of the points lead, and he's only got 5 cars in hand. 5 points translates to that between himself and Cam Wright Jr., who right now would be in, I believe, the 24th position. So both these drivers mired back in the field. A couple of drivers that started in the final row, Anthony McCurry and Kat Batson, haven't made up very much ground. Anthony's in the 29th spot, and there is Kat Batson. She's been able to make her way up to 25th as we are almost 4 wide here through 3 and 4. Daniel Voiles, Craig Batson, Roberto Crown Jr., they were 3 wide, and Cam Wright Jr. almost forced the issue for 4 wide. We mentioned Colin Grace came into this one tied for 6th with teammate Aubrey Powell. Colin is right now mired back in 26th position, so that would be good news if you are Jordan Anderson, trying to point your way back up into the top 7. Also way back here is David Dixon in the 45, who is 3rd in points coming to this one. And he has the last couple of weeks actually been starting to close up the gap between Roberto Crown Jr. and his teammate Cam Wright Jr. to make it maybe a 3-car fight down this home stretch for the regular season championship. But right now, just not seeing the speed out of that DHL Chevrolet. Cole Koibe right now is running in last, a former winner on the season. Koibe coming into this one, I believe, the 3rd driver outside of a wild card position, 18th in overall points. Is right here in the middle of the pack is some really good racing, some double wide. We've had occasion 3 wide as well. Cody Majorek, a former winner, is in the middle of this, as well as points leader Cam Wright Jr. Craig Batson makes his way around the outside, pulls up to the back bumper of his teammate Kyle Langland, who in turn is trying to get around the outside of Roberto Crown Jr. This is around the 18th position on back, where all this battling is taking place. Move a little bit further up towards the front of the field. Autumn Brooks now to the outside of Eli Bright. Autumn's been able to crack the top 10. This would be, I believe, for 9th place, as she will swing around the outside of the Sunny D Toyota Supra. Battle for the lead continues on. Bryce Egan had a bit of a gap back to 2nd place, and now he's got everybody on his back door. 4 cars lined up nose to tail there. Jackson Haywood, Aubrey Powell, Dave Smith up here. We have not been told what the fuel window is for these drivers, so not certain at all what we're looking at in terms of when these drivers would have to come to pit road. One would certainly assume that they would be, whoa, this might be the race lead right here, as Jackson was able to get to the right rear quarter panel of Bryce Egan. Might have our first lead change of the day, and we will. Nice move there by the 93. Faked out Bryce Egan, got to his right rear quarter panel, knew the second groove was preferred through 3 and 4, and Jackson Haywood will go to the point. So Bryce Egan will lead the first 18 laps of this afternoon's race, and now he'll be back on the attack of Jackson Haywood going here into turn 3. But going back to my point, as far as fuel is concerned, you got to think that these drivers would be targeting lap 41, lap 42 as the earliest to come down pit road, if indeed they can make it that far, split this race directly in half. If they come to pit road any sooner than that, we'll have to do some calculations. This could possibly be a 2-stop race if they can't make it to halfway. And this pit road is not an easy one to get onto, because you carry a lot of speed through 3 and 4. You try and back it down to the transition onto the flat apron, and I don't know if you were able to catch a glimpse of it there, but that black commitment cone, when you get down there on the flat, the car doesn't want to turn. It wants to go straight, and a lot of drivers are not able to get the car woed up in time, and they will either shoot past that commitment cone on the outside and completely miss pit road altogether, or they'll just barely get to the left of that commitment cone and shoot out into the grass and then have to slowly make their way back onto pit road. So we have seen this pit road be very sketchy, very difficult to get onto. If they have to make a pit stop under green, execution on pit road could be a huge deciding factor into whether you're even going to be remotely in the conversation for this victory or not. Skylar Taylor in a good battle there with Aubrey Powell for the 4th position. Skylar Taylor got the season started off right with the victory at Daytona, but we've documented the fact that beginning of the season, Skylar Taylor was definitely looking like he was carrying over the momentum from the end of last season when he ran a part-time schedule and found victory lane twice. But then we ended up getting after the All-Star break, and the consistency went away. Skylar Taylor now finds himself 13th in points. He is the 2nd driver outside of a wild card position. Obviously in that conversation where a 2nd victory would lock himself up more than likely a spot in the playoffs, whether it be through a wild card spot or through points. And you look at some of the drivers we've got up here as well. Jackson Haywood now out in front. Jackson is still looking for his first victory on the season, which it would put him, I believe, mathematically up in the top 7 in points, but certainly have him up near the top of those in the wildcard conversation. But look behind. Dave Smith coming into this one 20th in points. A 2nd victory. He leapfrogs all the other drivers ahead of him in the standings with 1 victory, like Cole Coybe, Skylar Taylor, Nathan Stapleton, Juan Garcia, Cody Majorek, Jordan Anderson. He shoots to the number 1 seed. Jordan Anderson, Aubrey Powell back here, Skylar Taylor, all former winners. Fastest car on the track right now, I think, could be these 2 cars. The 60 of Autumn Brooks, the 40 of Chris Dollerton. They have been slowly, steadily working their way forward. I believe that was the 93 coming to pit road, Jackson Haywood, and there's others. Nathan Stapleton and Michael Turner on pit road. Couple of 3 Fords. This has to be regularly scheduled. And this is at around lap 25, which I said this was going to be a potentially 2-stop race if they couldn't get to halfway. This could be a 3-stop race. Bryce Egan's coming in. Oh, there's Dave Smith. Oh, did he make the commitment line? I don't know. Tried that wide swing out that we talked about. And I don't know if he made the commitment line or not. There's a bunch of them on pit road here. We also had a number of drivers still elect to stay out, go an extra lap. I don't know who that turned the race lead over to it. Scoring is saying it was Kyle Langland. As Ralph Mason got around him, though. But Langland did indeed get the bonus point for the lap led. Mason's coming in, and is everybody else of this group coming in? Yes, they are. Looks like they're all going to make the commitment line. So now it's going to be a question of who's going to cycle out to the race lead. Remember, Jackson Haywood pitted from the lead after he got it from Bryce Egan. Was one of 3 drivers that hit pit road for the first ones onto pit lane, and we'll see if being on a less congested pit road potentially, if that will allow him to cycle back to the front or not. He will not have the benefit of draft, but he will have a relatively clean racetrack here, trying to put down a qualifying lap. I don't know. Dave Smith just got out there ahead of him. He's not up to speed, but will Dave Smith be cycling out to the front? Had that aggressive entry on pit road, let's not forget. We were kind of questioning if he made the commitment line or not. We're checking and waiting on scoring to see if the 15 would get a black flag for an illegal pit entry, but I'm not seeing anything as of right now. Dave Smith may very well cycle out to the point after that aggressive entry on pit road, with Jackson Haywood following behind in second. It's looking like most of those drivers that were the first ones onto pit lane may be the ones that benefit with the cycle in terms of track position. Jackson Haywood's going to lose the lead. He'll drop to second, but Michael Turner was able to gain a lot of spots. He's now up here fighting inside of the top 5, and there is Nathan Stapleton as well in the 97. The 93, the 02, and the 97 all were the first ones on pit road, and now they're all up here inside of the top 10 fighting for spots inside of the top 5. Autumn Brooks had a great pit stop. She's now in a battle for 4th with Michael Turner. A little further back here, 7th position, Aubrey Powell. Jordan Anderson 8th. Juan Garcia gained some spots there on the pit stop as he's now up to 9th. And Ralph Mason is currently in the 10th position. Remember, he was the leader of the group of those last to pit. He'll lose that 10th spot right now to a fellow Mazda in Skylar Taylor. So it looks like a number of drivers that were in different groups benefited from the green flag pit stop cycle in terms of track position. Dave Smith, obviously, the biggest one out of those, as he cycled to the race lead. So he becomes the 4th different driver to lead here tonight. Bryce Egan led the first 19 laps. Jackson Haywood led the next 6. Actually, we've had 5 different race leaders as Kyle Langland and Mike Tellier both led laps during the green flag pit stop cycle. Apparently, Tellier led his lap, I'm being told, on pit lane. But hey, that's bonus points towards the 17. Wow, great 1 and 2 there for Dave Smith. You could visibly see the gap opening up between himself and the 93. Bryce Egan in 3rd, and good battle for 4th as Autumn Brooks looks to make her way around Nathan Stapleton. Will do so. Moving into that 4th position. Utilize the inside line through 3 and 4. I guess with the fresh tires you can do that as the tires go away. That second groove is the more preferred line through the last couple of corners. So most of these pit stops took place between laps 24 to 26, which says to me it is going to be a 3-stop race. Expect the next cycle of pit stops somewhere around the lap 50 mark. Fastest lap so far in this race laid down by David Dixon at a 31.920. Leaders are running nowhere close to that right now as they're currently around the mid-32-second mark. Stapleton back to the inside of Brooks. Bryce Egan putting the pressure on Jackson Haywood for 2nd. Well, we haven't done it yet this afternoon, and it's been a long time since we've been here at the Kentucky Speedway. Let's go on board with the Ghost Mazda of Autumn Brooks. Listen what it's like to make your way around the 1.5 mile known as Kentucky Speedway. Oh, you could hear waiting on the throttle. Some great shots there from inside the cockpit of Autumn Brooks in this ongoing battle from 2nd back to 5th. Tried to make the move there on Jackson Haywood. Might pay the price. Bryce Egan now back around the outside through 1 and 2. It's all about that throttle control and being able to punch it on corner exit. Some situations you can, some other situations you can't. How about Michael Turner? Michael, a former winner this season at another mile-and-a-half racetrack. That was very early on in the season at Las Vegas. And he will swing around the outside of Bryce Egan, crosses the inside of Jackson Haywood. Might attempt the slide job here. Ooh, is he going to be able to get up in front of the 93? Nope. Haywood will draw back even down the back straightaway. Dave Smith continues to lead. Let's check at the back of the pack of drivers that did not benefit from the cycle of green flag pit stops, as the field is quite spread out. And Craig Batson back here in the 30th position. Daniel Voiles just up ahead. Both these drivers must have had really bad pit stops. Oh, we were talking about what a good run Eli Bright was having. He's back here in 28th. David Dixon, his fortunes haven't changed yet. He's still back here in 27th. Anthony McCurry, Cole Coybe's back here. Sean Galligan, Colin Grace. Cam Wright Jr. right now in the 19th position, so he gained, 5 spots on the pit stops. Roberto Crown Jr., though, was able to gain quite a few spots as well. He was, I think, around 19th, 20th when we last checked in. He's now up in 13th. So right now, he would gain 6 points on Cam Wright Jr., making it 7 points the advantage now from Cam back to Roberto, heading into our next race. Dave Smith got his only victory on the season back at Lucas Oil Raceway. He is the only driver out of Adrenaline Motorsports to go to victory lane this season, and now looking for a locked position in the playoffs, which he would certainly get. Caution's out! Yellow flag is out for the first time here tonight. I just saw the caution lights there as the leaders are making their way off of turn 4. It's the first time we've had the yellow flag wave, and this is interesting, the timing of this yellow, because I believe that if they make pit stops here, then we're just 1 stop to the finish after this. I think we'd be within the fuel window to make it on 1 more stop. This looks like somebody had a moment on the back straightaway off of turn 2. I will be shocked if we don't have everybody on pit road here. And we'll check and see what happened to bring out this first yellow of the weekend. Yep, here comes everybody. We'll have to see if Dave Smith and his team can hold serve. Keep him out in front for the upcoming restart, as we've got a couple of drivers already out of the race. That'll give us a bit of an indication of who to focus on. Looks like this may have been towards the rear of the field, surprisingly enough, too. Try and see if we can pinpoint where it began, and it may have started with last time out's winner. Oh, I think we may have had a mechanical problem. Nathan Stapleton had trouble after they crossed the start-finish line. He was running up inside of the top 5, and watch right here as the car appears to lose all power right there. There's no smoke, so it may not have been something related with the engine. Could have been an electrical problem. And then as he's trying to find his way to the inside, he's going to get hit from behind by Cody Majorek. Anthony McCurry, Cole Coybe takes a big hit as well. And that's going to bring out the yellow. Something that I did notice when we had that onboard with Autumn Brooks, I don't know if anybody else zoned in on it, but the dial was flashing. These cars were topping out. And I don't know if that might have led to whatever happened here with the 97. That's a tough break there for Nathan Stapleton. 1 race removed from getting his first checkered flag of his career. Sean Galligan may have also gotten a piece of that incident, but majority of the damage to McCurry, Coybe, and Majorek. Well, you see the 97's able to get it fired up and continue on. That may have, I don't know, he's able to get up to third gear there. He was in fourth gear, it looked like, when the car started slowing. So I was wondering if maybe he might have lost a gear. Could maybe have potentially lost a cylinder, too. I mean, that car still appeared to be under power. It just obviously wasn't up to speed with everybody else. So, we'll wait and see if we can get some diagnosis on that. Stapleton looks like he's going to still be able to continue, but 3 drivers are out of the race after that incident on the back straightaway. Cody Majorek, Anthony McCurry, and Cole Koibe. So, Majorek and Koibe, a couple of former winners on the season. This is going to hurt them as Majorek came into this race in the second wild card spot, according to live point standings, and Cole Koibe was trying to get back into the wild card conversation. With Nathan Stapleton having his troubles as well, provided we don't have another different winner go to victory lane that is up inside the top 15 in points, I would say Skylar Taylor could maybe have a shot at one of the wild card positions heading into next week as far as the point standings are calculated. That also depends on Colin Grace, who is currently back in 20th, whether or not he falls out of the top 7 in points. I would assume his victory would be eligible for a wild card spot as well. So a lot of moving pieces, and we'd have to see who is situated where once the dust settles here at Kentucky. As lights out on the pace car, we're going back green. It'll be on lap 47. So with around the 25 lap window on fuel, we're looking at these drivers being able to make it to around lap 72. 71 to 72. That would be around 11 laps away from the conclusion, which means that we are good to go. We're in the window to make it on one more pit stop. Whether it be under caution or under green will remain to be seen. And of course, we would have to get, I would think, to around lap 58, 59 for a caution to have us in the window to make it the rest of the way on fuel. So about 13 laps from now. Dave Smith's team did get it done on pit road. He was first in, first off. He'll be leading Bryce Egan, Michael Turner, Jackson Haywood, and Jordan Anderson, the top 5 to the restart here. Ralph Mason will be in 6th, Skylar Taylor 7th, Autumn Brooks in 8th, 9th for Juan Garcia, and Wes McCoy is going to complete your top 10. 27 drivers remain, all 27 on the lead lap, as we get ready to get back green flag racing here at Kentucky. Into the Geico restart zone. Dave Smith waits till the very last moment. And with that lap led, Dave is now tied with the car behind him, Bryce Egan, for most laps led so far. If he leads this next lap, he will be in possession of the bonus point for most laps led in this afternoon's race. Fresh tires, everybody all wadded up. Expect to see some pretty aggressive racing here. Drivers realizing how spread out the field got after the cycle green flag pit stops and are trying to make plans accordingly if we end up having the final pit stop of this race take place under green flag conditions. Let's drop back here to this 3 wide. Autumn Brooks, Ralph Mason. I think Mason went down all the way onto the apron on the front straightaway. Juan Garcia now 3 wide there to the inside of Wes McCoy. Skylar Taylor way up there, and there is Roberto Crown Jr., the Beyblade 18 in the middle of all this. Bryce Egan tried to make a move on Dave Smith, paid for it off of 3 and 4. Michael Turner got around him, and now Turner is looking for the race lead on Smith, going into 1 and 2. Dave, though, with that preferred line, that middle to higher arc into the first corner, going to keep the top position, but Turner now moves into second. Well, looks like down this home stretch of the regular season for both the Lights and the Cup Series side, only one other weekend will we have only the Cup Series drivers standing alone. and that will be at Bristol Dirt. 5 of the 6 final races for the Cup Series side. We'll have the Lights drivers there as well. As at the conclusion of this race weekend, we go to, or actually correction, no, it looks like there's 2 racetracks. Is it 2? No, 4 of the remaining 5 races will have double headers, as we'll be at Homestead next week, followed by Watkins Glen, Hanford Speedway. Then the Cup Series drivers will be along at Bristol Dirt, and then we'll have our regular season finale for both Lights and Cup Series drivers, setting the playoff grid when we head to the Auto Club Speedway. How about this up here at the front? Chevy, Ford, Toyota. Turner with a move there on Dave Smith. Egan with a move on Turner. They'll be side by side for second place coming off of turn 4, as Smith will continue to hold the race lead. I'm assuming Papa Dave's is a pizza place. Logo looks kind of similar to Papa John's. So you got a couple of pizza places in first and second now. Third place battle, Jordan Anderson looking low on Bryce Egan. And Ralph Mason has made his presence felt now inside of the top 5. Eric Sadler, Cup Series regular, has 2 prior starts in the All-Star car out of Bishop Family Racing this season in the Light Series. In both of those starts, he has finished in the top 5, and he's right now in a good battle with Wes McCoy and Autumn Brooks. Last time by scored in 9th. Keep an eye on that bright pink T-Mobile Dark Horse Mustang, as he's looking for his 3rd top 5 finish in as many starts. Ralph Mason with a moment down there on the apron. Might have gotten a little loose, lost momentum, and lost positions as well. He's going to drop from 5th back to probably around 8th or 9th. Looks like around 7th, actually. Jackson Haywood on the move. Wes McCoy may have driven it a little too deep. He started sliding up. Opens the door for Ralph Mason. That outside line, though, starting to prevail once again there. Top side out of turn 4. Gets Jordan Anderson to 4th. Wes McCoy up into 5th. Good run there for Wes McCoy. Wes coming into this one 19th in points. Still looking at that first trip to victory lane. He's another driver who very easily get a couple of wins here in these final 5 races. He could find himself in the playoff conversation. He's the highest running of the Haas machines right now in this race. I think the next highest would be Colin Grace, who's back in 16th. Aubrey Powell right now in 17th. And Cole Koibe, obviously, as we've already documented, out of the race after being involved in our only cautions so far here this afternoon. Anthony McCurry, Cody Majoric also out of the race due to that wreck. Nathan Stapleton is still on the track continuing on, but he is way off the pace. Just hoping to maybe pick up another spot or 2. As now Smith opens up a gap back to Bryce Egan. Let's see if the gap opens or closes here between those 2 through 3 and 4. Looks like it stayed pretty much even. So both cars could be on pretty equal footing there. Michael Turner in 3rd, and now here comes Jackson Haywood looking for 4th. Around the outside of Wes McCoy. Able to find that arc through the center. Mashes the throttle on corner exit, and he'll carry that momentum down the back straightaway. Should be clear. Yes, he will. Move Jackson to 4th. McCoy back to 5th. Nice 3 and 4 there for Bryce Egan, the pole sitter, on the hunt. Bryce looking for his first career NNSCRA victory. He runs full time for points in the Cup Series as a go-or-go-home non-chartered entry out of Haas Racing. This is his third, I believe, let me double check. Yes, his third start in the Lite Series in the All-Star car out of Trackhouse Racing. But he's yet to go to victory lane on either the Cup side or the Lite side. So this would be his first overall victory if he's able to close out the deal, but still trying to hunt down Dave Smith. And Dave Smith, let's not forget how he got to the race lead. Pit road. He was one of the most aggressive on pit road, just barely met the commitment cone, got it down to the 45 miles per hour pit road speed, and was able to cycle out to the front. He has not looked back since. It is looking like this final pit stop could be the deciding factor maybe into who's going to win this race. So can Dave Smith do it again is going to be the question. Again, we're looking at that final pit stop taking place somewhere around just past lap 70, so about 10 laps from now. I'd say somewhere between laps 70 to 75. Everybody will be making their final pit stops if indeed they're going to push the envelope and run as far as they possibly can. The window is open to make it the rest of the way, right here, right now. The problem is, if you come to pit road right now, you're going to have to take on probably about a can and a half of fuel. About 5 laps ago, you would have had to have taken on 2 cans of fuel. And if you come to pit road at the last possible opportunity, you're coming to pit road with about 10 to go, and you would only have to take maybe a can of fuel to get to the end. May not seem like much, but the amount of time you spend on pit road with the amount of fuel you put in the race car, that translates to time, that translates to track position. One thing I am going to want to do as well, when these drivers make their pit stops, we'll keep track of who stays out a little bit longer and whatnot, as we've got a battle for the lead. Egan looking to the bottom on Dave Smith, but just not able to get that power down through the center of the corner. I will be interested to watch some of these leaders and see if they go with fuel only or if they take tires. Because right now we are running a full second slower, are the race leaders, than the fastest laps they've laid down here this afternoon. So there definitely is tire wear. The thing about taking tires, though, is if you're only going to take on a can of fuel, you're probably only going to want to take right sides. Because if you're going to take 4 tires, you might as well take and fill the car completely up. Eric Sadler, I just mentioned when we saw him breaking into the top 10. In his 2 previous races, he's finished in the top 5. And he's up in the top 5 again. 4th position, hounding Wes McCoy for the 3rd spot. Seven-car breakaway here at the front. These 7 cars could be the ones really to decide who's going to win this race. It's all going to come down to pit stops here. And we ended up seeing really a lot of the drivers that elected to pit early. They were the ones that for the most part benefited in terms of track position. Dave Smith was part of, I think it was the 2nd group that came to pit road in the green flag pit stop cycle, but we've already documented how he got the lead. He was the leader of his group, and he had that very aggressive entry onto pit road. I think if you're Bryce Egan in the 11, Michael Turner, Wes McCoy, Eric Sadler, you want to leapfrog the 15. You want to be on pit road a lap or 2 before he is. As here comes Egan again. Good run out of turn 2. He'll try the inside into 3 and 4 this time, and he might get to the left rear quarter panel. No, not quite. You saw the flares out of the tailpipes there. He had to bail out of the throttle through the center. And now here comes Wes McCoy to his right rear, trying to pin him down there, get a little side draft, heading into 1 and 2. Wes McCoy looking to move to the runner-up spot, and he will clear around to do so. So now a new face in the rearview mirror for Dave Smith, going to be the Haas Toyota Supra of Wes McCoy, who drives it deep there into turn 3. I don't think he was going for the lead, but I think he was definitely trying to close up the gap between himself and Smith. And he may have succeeded. He may have found something there. He didn't lose a whole lot of momentum off of turn 4. Closing in on that window when we're going to start to see drivers hitting pit road. Wes McCoy's got a nice long run car. Does he have something for Dave Smith? Looks to the bottom. Shows the nose into 3. Not there. But what? Look how he's able to carry that momentum there on the inside line through 3 and 4. Stayed right in touch with Dave Smith. That's the second time he's run that line, so he's found something. He's going to look low here in turn 1. I don't think this is where you want to make that move. Bryce Egan thought about trying to get on the outside of the 8. Not able to. Just noticed a couple of drivers that have done a great job of staying patient during the course of this race. Kat Batson started this race from the last row, and she's now up to 9th. Great performance there, and I was going to mention Sean Galligan, but he just hit pit lane in the 62, one of the first ones. And he's coming down by himself. Keep in mind, he was 10th when these pit stops began. Let's use him as a little bit of an idea of what we're doing here. Are we going with 4 tires? Are we going with right sides only? Right sides. Right sides, get it full of fuel to get to the end. He's down and away. Here comes some more. Wes McCoy is in. And he swung around the outside there of Dave Smith as I think they were approaching the slower car of Nathan Stapleton. Ralph Mason, Michael Turner, Autumn Brooks is in. We got a car in the grass. That's Eli Bright. Missed pit road, and now we've seen this before. Now he's going to be crab walking to his pit stall. Look out this oncoming traffic here. Hopefully he doesn't hit anybody. Craig Batson's going to be involved. And now the 20 teleports to his pit stall. That's what I talked about earlier. I talked about this in qualifying as well. Drivers trying to get to pit road, they overshoot. Oh, somebody just ran to the back of somebody there. I think there was a stack up with Dollarton, Juan Garcia, and Cam Wright Jr., our points leader. Well, it doesn't look like visible damage on any of those cars. Maybe a little bit of a buckle on the hood of the Cheeto Chevrolet. But now they'll all hit pit road. Wes McCoy coming out. Where's Galligan? There's the 62. He might cycle to 3rd, maybe 2nd. He's up to speed. His tires are warmed up. I think that Dave Smith... Wait, where's Dave? Oh, no. I think Wes McCoy's going to cycle out to the top spot. More drivers leaving pit road here. I believe these are all the remainder of drivers we were waiting on. Eric Sadler coming now. That's going to be exchanged right there for what would have been the race lead. Wes McCoy, I believe, is going to be the race leader. McCoy, then Turner, then Galligan will now be up to 3rd after the short pit strategy will pay dividends for him. Then Sadler, Bryce Egan, the pole sitter, and we're 3 wide for what's eventually going to be 6th place. Give it to Dave Smith, Autumn Brooks, Kyle Langland, Colin Grace all in this mix. Scoring updates, Wes McCoy the race leader. But there's a pack of 3 behind him that if they stay single filed up, they will reel him in. There's still going to be 10 to go when we hit the line next time by. Wes McCoy is not out of the woods yet. We can update that Craig Batson, after we saw Eli Bright kind of moonwalk across the infield grass in front of him on pit road, they just took that car to the garage area. So Craig Batson, again, still in a must-win situation in these final 4 races of the regular season to even get a wild card spot. And Eli Bright is currently multiple laps down, still on pit road. As Wes McCoy, who came into this race 19th in points, still searching for his first top 5 of the season. He and Brody Kupski are the 2 full-time drivers that have yet to score a top 5 here in Season 2. Looks like Wes is definitely going to checkbox the top 5. Question is, will he also checkbox the race win category? As look at how 2nd through 4th have been able to close up the gap. They've been able to utilize the draft on the straightaways to close up here. And we're about to have a Toyota, a Mazda, and 2 Fords to maybe settle it out here for this race victory at Kentucky. Turner would be the only driver up in this group that has formerly won this season back at Vegas. For Eric Sadler, he would be looking to be the first driver this season to have a Cup and a Lite Series win, as he was a former winner this season in the Cup Series. I believe that was back at North Wilkesboro. Gonna be 7 to go this time by. And there's the visible gap from McCoy back to Turner. If Turner can get within about a second of McCoy, he's going to have the slipstream, he's going to have the draft that will help him on these straightaways, and scoring last time by showed about exactly a second between the 8 and the 0-2. Correction, that was the previous lap. This last time by now down to 0.8 of a second. 5th place on back, hoping the top 4 race so they could maybe have a shot at this thing. Dave Smith, who's led the most laps tonight, 42 circuits out in front. Pole sitter Bryce Egan, who's led 21 laps. Kyle Langland now up in the 7th position. How about Nathan Fogler? We haven't mentioned him hardly at all tonight. He's up in the top 10 now, late in 8th, with Autumn Brooks and Colin Grace currently your top 10. Colin's done a good job of being patient this evening as well. Was mired back outside the top 20 for a majority of this event. And now with a shot of finishing this race out inside of the top 10. Eric Sadler holds off Sean Galligan for the 3rd spot. Turner is closing up on Wes McCoy as the laps tick away. 5 to go that last time by at the line. For Wes McCoy, it's all about qualifying laps right now. Hit your marks, choose your lane. If the 0-2 catches him, you force him into an uncomfortable position, force him to run a line to try and pass you that he doesn't want to run. You be the control car. 4 laps to go here. Wes McCoy looking for his first career victory and trying to become the 15th different winner on the season in the first 16 races. Eric Sadler is closing up on Michael Turner for 2nd. That could be good news if you're Wes McCoy. Every lap that Turner is defending against Sadler is one less lap that he's putting the pressure on you as Sadler looks low on Turner for the runner-up spot. 3 to go here at Kentucky. 4.5 miles remaining. With Wes coming into this race 19th in points, I don't know if he closes out this race victory where this would put him in the wild card conversation. I don't think it would put him in a wild card spot, but I think he'd be just on the outside looking in and still would have 4 races to work with. But now Turner breaks away from Eric Sadler, closing back up. 2 laps to go. About maybe 3 car lengths separation for this race lead. McCoy looked like he might have visibly been a little bit better on the exit of turn 2. Turner's got to have an incredible 3 and 4 here to have a lap to work with against Wes McCoy for this race victory. But Wes still keeps the gap about 2.5 to 3 car lengths. This time by, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Wes McCoy and his team, they were the ones that got it done on pit road on the money stop. He was in the top 5, but they cycled him to the front. And Wes McCoy down the back straightaway, still plenty of space between him and 2nd place. Michael Turner and Eric Sadler drive it in deep, but they're not going to close up quickly enough. Wes McCoy about to pick up his first career victory in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series, becomes the 15th different winner on the season. He'll win in the Bluegrass State. Michael Turner will bring it home in 2nd. Eric Sadler, his 3rd straight finish in the top 5 in his starts in that all-star car. Sean Galligan and Dave Smith going to complete the top 5 here this evening. Third win for the Haas Racing team with their third different driver. And Wes McCoy with the victory. He hasn't locked himself up a playoff spot, but he has made himself very much so more of a topic of conversation for a playoff position now, with getting his first checkered flag of Season 2. Points lead should be interesting. That battle, I think, closed up as Roberto Crown Jr. crossed the line in 10th, Cam Wright Jr. in 20th. That's a 10-point gap close up, which means I believe it'll be 3 points. Cam Wright Jr. over Roberto Crown Jr. heading into another mile-and-a-half racetrack next week in Homestead, Miami. Standings are official, and here they are. Congratulations to Wes McCoy. Becomes the 15th different driver to pick up a checkered flag here this season. Michael Turner, Eric Sadler, Sean Galligan, and Dave Smith, your top 5. Bryce Egan started on the pole, and he will finish in 6th. Nathan Fogler, great run for him there in 7th. 8th for Kyle Langland, Autumn Brooks in 9th, and we mentioned Roberto Crown Jr. finishes in 10th. Colin Grace, Kat Batson, a couple of drivers that were mid-pack, rear of the field most of this race, toughed it out, executed on pit road, gained track position. They finished in 11th and 13th. Ralph Mason right between the two of them in 12th. Daniel Voiles will finish in 14th. Wasn't he running like next to last at one point? Gets a top 15 along with Brody Kupski. Juan Garcia, Jordan Anderson, Skylar Taylor, Chris Dollerton, Cam Wright Jr., the points leader coming into this one, complete the top 20. Nathan Stapleton is going to take a big hit in the point standings, one race removed from his victory at the Chicago Motor Speedway after he had that mechanical problem of some kind that brought out our only caution of the night. Finishes on the lead lap, but in 25th position. Eli Bright's going to take a hit in points as well, as he missed pit road. Had to call the teleport after missing his pit stall. 5th in points coming to this one. 6 laps down in 26th. And Cody Majorek is also going to potentially fall out of a wild card position. He was in the second wild card spot coming into tonight, and the DNF in 28th may drop him out of a current playoff position. Aubrey Powell also quite a ways back there. Came in 6th in overall points. May drop out of the top 7 in the standings into a wild card spot. And David Dixon 22nd as well. We never saw that 45 car have any speed during the course of this race, beginning, middle, or end. 3rd in points. Was looking like he could maybe make it a 3-car fight for that overall regular season championship. But he's going to take a hit in the points as well, finishing outside of the top 20. You'd think 16 races into the season we wouldn't have a lot of shuffling up inside of our top 7, top 10, top 15 in points. I think we are going to get that with who finished where at the conclusion of this race. It'll be interesting to see what the fallout is and what the playoff standings would look like now heading into Homestead, Miami next week. But we got one more race to finish up here in this race weekend from Kentucky. It's the Cup Series drivers tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll join us for that. Congratulations to Wes McCoy. He is the winner here tonight, his first career win in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. If you guys enjoyed this race, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to part of the crew today. We showed you full page results, and you're now looking at the point standings as a result of the finishes here tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Another doubleheader with Lights and Cup Series action at the mile-and-a-half track known as Homestead Miami Speedway. But until then, or tomorrow afternoon, depending on when you tune in, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, Offline Racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.